Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Hero's Journey podcast, a sacred space where you can kiss your doubt goodbye and embark on confidence and love on your quest to become the hero on your own journey back to wholeness. Together with brilliant minds, we venture into the unknown to revive and mend what is torn and to patch what is missing. Today, we explore the powerful journey of Yarim, a story of resilience and transformation. Yarim grew up in a difficult environment marked by financial hardships and also a few violent at home. And after his father's departure left deep scars, leading Yarim to develop some anger issues as a way to protect himself. But his life took a significant turn when a business mentor introduced him to Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. This was the beginning of his transformation, and through Dr. Joe's teaching, he truly began to heal and change from within, shedding the layers of anger and pain that had defined him for so long. And his story is a really powerful reminder that no matter how dark the past, change and healing are always possible. And your story really, really has inspired me the most. Well, it's one of the most powerful that I heard, because when I heard about your story and got to know you already a while after in person, I was like, there's no way he went through all of that, or there was no way that he was this person full of anger and like hate, because the the way I encountered you, it was just the most genuine, caring, loving person. And I was truly like not shocked, but like, wow, he really wants to help me. Because we met at a time where I particularly wasn't on my best. And just the way how you helped me navigate through these times and just been there for me, I truly was, man, that guy has a lot of compassion and love inside his heart. So the more I got to know about your story, I was like, wow, there's like, I hear your story and I look at you and like, how that I can't believe that is his past. So that's why I think your story is so powerful. But I want to give it to you and just, want to ask you where you think your story has started.
Well, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you well.
Okay, so it really just started when that's such an open-ended question, but like I feel like my story really truly started when I was 4 years old, when my dad physically hit my mom
Mm.
when he was drunk and he got mad at her, and like I wanted to protect her, like something inside me just said protect mom, like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, let me protect my mom. Like, he's a grown man. I'm a 4 year old kid. I'm not gonna do anything to him. So he struck me down, and it felt like by divine intervention, like the neighbors heard that. Like the neighbors had heard that. It feels such a like so many lifetimes ago, but like the neighbors had heard that, called the cops. The cops thankfully just busted in and arrested my dad. And it started from there. It was like two incomes, but now it's one income. And then my
Mm.
mom, we had to move a lot because she couldn't afford the rent that much. She could barely ends meet without him. But I know the moment when I saw those police lights here in America that I told myself I wasn't worthy of love. And then I developed this constant cycle of fear, anger, and hatred. And I kept telling myself I'm not worthy of love outside of me because I couldn't protect my mom, and my dad doesn't even love me to stay enough with her. And it was just these conscious, unconscious stories I kept telling myself.
Mm. Yeah, thank you for
Oh,
letting us
that
know.
I did not know I was gonna get emotional saying the story again.
Well, well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, that is quite vulnerable to share, but I'm grateful that you do, because it will help a lot of other people who want something familiar underwent something familiar, or just like seeing you where you are at now and just knowing what you've been through is just so inspirational, and it serves your story serves others in a great way. Again, thank you so much for sharing. And so, when you were in your teens, would you like to tell us a little bit more about how this childhood trauma has defined you in your daily life, or how it branded you?
I always thought I would never let anyone too close to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was just this constant need of like looking outside of love, but being too scared to let it in. And so I never allow anyone to get too close to me, and everyone was just at arm lengths away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I had developed narcissistic personality disorder from that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was medically diagnosed when I was the age of 18. I went to therapy and developed a lot of anxiety on top of that and antisocial behavior. And so I thought I could just manipulate myself around the world, telling myself that that's what love is, because I was never good enough for that love. And I developed a lot of anger issues when I was like in high school and my teens. Like a lot of, I was very explosive and I wasn't very stoic or control of my emotions. I would just let my emotions run over and over and over and over again. And then so, yeah, if I had any friends, it would just be like, we'll do a couple things together, and I'm like, get the fuck away from me, because I never felt it was safe enough to love. So that I had told my story that say, can you let me talk? God. Okay. Um, can you this and it was this constant need for always. Can you wait, please? Anyway, I'm gonna ignore you. This constant need for love looking outside of me, and it's always this need. It was just looking outside of me when I didn't know it was within me. That pretty much a lot of anger issues and a lot of mental issues came from that moment of like when I was 4 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Childhood traumas are the ones who define us the most in our teens or in adultery, and when we don't work them up, then they just take over the show. Thank you for sharing that. And then I wonder.
Fuck you,
Well, I
Maya. Can
already.
you stop being so sassy? Sorry.
We're gonna explain everybody later on who Maya is. But for now, I already know. But for now, like I know. I mean, I already know your story, but people might
hmm
sort of wonder, okay, how did you get out of that? Like, what happened? Like, what started for you, or what has come into your life? Was it your own decision that you needed to change? Because these feelings, like living by anxiety and living by anger, or these survival emotions, the past people that I interviewed, for instance, Sienna, she started to ask, well, is that it? Is that what I have to endure the rest of my life? And she started to seek for change and came across different concepts. So I wonder how it was for you. Did you start seeking something actively, or did something cross your path?
It really was this moment where I almost killed myself,
Mm,
literally in my teens. I literally almost killed myself. Like I almost did not once but twice. I know you're the one who stopped it. Can you stop mentioning it? And it was that one sliver of love that stopped me from actually jumping out of the car and getting hit by it. I was planning, like I was looking for an opportunity to just to end it. And then
Mm,
I got depressed the very fact that I was going to actually do something like that. Um, it took that and also not telling anybody about that. I also have some issues with my mom with custody and everything. She wanted me to go to Texas, and I didn't want to go to Texas, and that only felt piled on onto that trauma. Like it just felt like piled, and I didn't know how to like express myself or share my feelings because I come from a Mexican culture, especially towards the men. You cannot share your feelings. You're supposed to
mm,
bottle up and suck it up and just not talk about it
mm,
at all. So I did have a lot of explosive episodes. I was physically disciplined, more than I should have, but overall, I had the outwardly appearance of being a sweet, kind person, but I was not happy inside. I almost did kill myself, and it was this. I know it was you. Anyway, um, it was just the most. I don't look at those moments of my dad leaving as, oh, I'm a victim.
mm-hmm.
Okay, but yeah,
Yeah. Thank you for thank you for sharing. That is that is very intense. Even that you never never shared it with anybody, like until recently, I believe, that you were trying to end your life and go to sleep forever, basically.
I take the
Um,
forever nap.
yeah, take the forever nap. That's how you used to call that. Looking back, in particular at this moment, what would you say to a person who's maybe going through the same experience or like a similar one that is really considering taking the forever nap? Do you have
Um,
any?
it's not worth it.
Yeah.
There's people that do care, even though you feel like you don't. And I promise you, if you don't do it, there's going to be some regret that you considered it. But it's the most human thing you could do. It's okay. You didn't know any better. That's why we take steps to better. Just use views as a mistake. That's nothing wrong, without any judgment.
Mm,
And you'll be so much more happier that you didn't do it, and that you'll see maybe it might take me a moment or two sometime, but you'll look back on it as a moment of teaching you how to love your life. I and I give thanks to that moment. Without that moment, I wouldn't know how life special is and how important it is to be here on this earth, to touch grass, to drink water, to just feel and wear clothes. It makes you so much more grateful in life. It is never worth it. Please call the helplines. There are resources available to you that are free. Well, in America, I'm assuming we're talking to a wide spectrum, but any government, I believe, here has the resources.
yeah.
And on the other side, there's a light. There's always a light end of the tunnel.
Thank you. Thank you for these beautiful words and sharing it with the others. And yes, as you said, there's always light, even if it doesn't seem in that moment, but the light has certainly found you. So, you want to share with us how the transformation started in your life? I believe it was thanks to your mentor, right? You were independent, you had your own business, I believe, and your coach or mentor, she
Oh,
introduced you to
yeah.
something different.
So t skip skip past a couple years, we get to a business mentor named Kat Howell. She doesn't do Facebook ads anymore with agencies, but she was like all about manifestation, being, getting into spirituality and everything. And I thought she was the hottest shit because she was really attractive. But I didn't know. But like after I was introduced to her, she talked about how she used to be a stripper and she had a credit card and went to this spiritual teacher named Dr. Joe in Barcelona. She literally maxed out her credit card, slept behind a vending machine during the week-long retreats. And she's like, yeah, like my life, I went from like, in 2 years, I went from like struggling to ends meet with like, you know, sleeping behind vending machines and everything, with like barely able to afford rent to in 2 years, making $10 million a year and sold her agency.
Wow.
And I'm like, I want a hot wife, big house, and a and a hot wife, big house, fast car. I'm like, okay, sure, I want abundance. Like that's where the idea of Dr. Joe Dispenza came through her. And I'm like, cool. And I'm like, let's go for it. And I'm like, okay, she kind of mentioned here and there. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, cool. And then the perfect opportunity came in 2020 when I had like made some of I using her business practices, made quite a lot of money. And I remember I was on a cruise ship. I was ordering the next Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat. We were like, oh, we're running laptop, tap, 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 tap. And then that's when the pandemic hit. In January, we were ordering our tickets for March, and the pandemic hit for March, so it was canceled. So they're like refunded everyone, and they gave intermission. That's where intermission came from. For those not aware of that. And then I'm like, well, fuck. Well, fuck. Well, I want a big house, hot wife, and fast car. Well, fuck that. And then so I had the other opportunity during the presidential election to go to my first week-long retreat in Marco Island. That's where did my first week-long retreat. And that's the first one I went to.
Wow. That is, I always love to hear the stories how people come across those teachers, whatever, if it's Dr. Joe or not, or if it's some other teachings, but they seem to always come by at the right timing. And then it gets very interesting. So, I mean, I've been to a retreat by myself, and I have to say, my first retreat was really intense, and I was surprised how much you can learn about yourself by just sitting with yourself with your eyes closed. So I'm interested in looking at the Yarim who, I don't know, how old were you at that time? Just, well, it doesn't even matter, but at that stage where yeah, you kind of moved on. You have your business, and then you sit down for the first time and just confront with what's going inside of within you. So, how was your first retreat? What did you learn about yourself?
First of all, fuck you, Maya. You are consistently rude and getting on my nerves. You need to go outside. Anyway, um, what I learned about myself that week, the first long retreat, sitting down with myself, how I was 20 years old. I was angry at Dr. Joe. Half of the retreat. I'm like, this old fucking bastard. Like he thinks he's the hottest shit. He's annoying me, and I have to get up at 4 a.m. No. Fuck this. I'm out. Fuck you. I want a refund. But it was that one moment. I'm like, you know what? It's Saturday. it was like Saturday. I don't remember, but like Saturday, the 40-minute meditation, when they did the 40-minute meditation on Saturdays, I'm like, let me just go to one more meditation. Let's just fuck it. Like, if I don't like this, I'll just walk out and I'll walk on people. Like, I don't care. Like, that's how angry I am. I was, and I remember when I sat down and then when I did the breath. Oh my God, I was a flopping fish on a dry deck. I could not control my body. I was knocking chairs over. The more I didn't want to happen, and more it happened. I'm like, no! I'm like, "Ugh," and I was like, making some weird noises, and I was like the exorcist, basically. The chairs were falling on people, and I was kicking people in the head, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And I remember sitting with golden light, and I'm like, oh. This feels good. Meditation's amazing. I'm like, how beautiful the mind can be when it's quieted because I didn't know how angry and how many unhealthy mental issues I've been running. No, I'm not down for apologies right now. Um, yes, we'll channel, but if you're good on your behavior. Um, and it was just like this flopping fish, and I couldn't like I remember I was touched by some love, and I'm like, oh my God, I've been an asshole. Oh my God, I've been an asshole. And I would never, a person with narcissistic disorder would ever never say that. They're too fucking good for any kind of help, and they would never have that kind of mental awareness. I'm like, whatever. He taught me some love there, and I'm like, if I feel good, and I started business started coming in. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what it is. It's kind of sitting down with yourself. That's what it is. That's what I pretty much got from there. Besides eating really healthy, but I never implemented that till now, till this year.
Step by step changes. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's not like you can control when you do the breath and those convulsing movements when energy starts moving. It's were you afraid? Or was it just like what like how did you feel about it? Because many people are scared about the breath unconsciously. Like I too, for a long time, I was super scared because when it starts moving and it feels super scary. But how did it feel for you? Was it just like movement of energy and you didn't?
Well, I'm sure you have American viewers like who flops on the deck like a fish, like the SpongeBob reference. I don't know. Like I was probably doing it wrong, but I just did. I just went for it. I'm like I just listened and went along with it, and like
Hmm.
I acted like I know what I was doing. Besides not wanting to lose my money, um, and not wanting to have an angry conversation with a customer service representative, I just like went for it.
Hmm.
I just like fuck it. We ball like we go all in. We go deep. We go deep and hard. And once I did that. Oh my God, I am so happy that I did it.
Hmm.
I and from there, guess what? I refuse to do the fucking breath. After that, we can like retry it. I'm like, one's enough. Fuck you. I don't want to flop my like a fish anymore. So I did not implement the breath. I'm like, meditation's good. Breath, fuck you.
Well,
Dr. Div, you're a smart guy. I love you. At that time, not right now. If anything, I want to do the breath.
yeah,
But like,
yeah.
do it. You'll be so much happier that you did.
Mm, thank you for sharing. Thank you for shedding some light on that. And then after the retreat, I mean, it's like easy to, like when you're at those retreats, so many people in the same environment, and the vibes are usually pretty good, and everybody's like happy.
Oh
Sometimes
no.
you
Oh no, no, no. No, 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 no. No. There's a saying Americans aren't happy unless they're stressed. That no. Dr. Joe during that event, he was yelling at the crowd that half of the retreat. More than like until like Monday till Thursday, he was yelling like no politician, no priest, no leader's gonna save you. You're gonna have to be your own leader. We had the same talk over and over and over. It was during the presidential election. No, the vibes were horrible. People were like, "Who'd you vote for?" No, like, did you vote for Donald Trump? Fuck you. Go sit in the corner. Did you vote for Joe Biden? Fuck you. You sit in the corner. You had to make sure you had just had to sit there. What I did, I sat there and I ate my food. I aggressively approached the table and sat down and ate my food, and I ignored everyone.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Like for me, okay, it was not during present like during such a huge
It was during
election.
COVID and presidential. It was during a stressful time, in America. So,
Yeah, true. Okay. Well then that's also covered to know, okay, sometimes not always is like rainbows and unicorns.
oh no, oh no, no! It was one angry speech and another. And we had to stay longer too because we had to sit through those angry speeches.
Wow, wow, wow. Oh wow. Thank you for sharing that. I wasn't aware of that. Wow. Well, but he takes quite some effort to get the crowd where he wants them to be, or just like he takes a lot of effort to make sure the crowd is at one point coherent. Wow, that must have been
I
a
mean,
very exhausting
yeah,
work.
it was. By like Sunday, he was like the amount of like you could tell how tired he was just from that one retreat. Like you could just tell he's like, I want to fucking finish this shit. Like you could just see on his face. It doesn't take a fucking psychic to see that shit. That's rude. Don't say
Well,
that.
well, thank you for sharing that. And well, but anyways, like after the retreat, well, first of all, even though a lot of things during the retreat were going on, did you feel like you said you felt better, like while doing all these meditations, you shed some layers, and then how was it after the retreat? How did the journey continue with you in the meditations? Did you stick to them, or what did you do?
I'm like, I'm one and done. Thank you. I'm ready to be abundant. I'm getting clients. Fuck you, Dr. Joe. Thank you for your teaching way of teaching me. Thank you. Bye. But then I'm like, I had another opportunity to go to another retreat, and I'm like, it's basically for free. And it's in Cancun. So February, I'm like, there's some really hot women that go to the retreats. I'm like, I mean, I'm not keeping up with the practice, but I am listening to the progressive and intensive in the shower.
Hmm.
I'm just listening to information, not doing the meditations. I'm like, okay, I'll go. Second retreat, one of the most beautiful moments. It's called the ripple effect. I remember it because it was such profound, and that's when the first time I was studied. So they put a HRV monitor on my chest, and I
Mhm.
remember because I was complaining that I had to shave my chest, and I'm like, last time I made some really good money.
Hmm.
Okay, um, and it was. Why are you crying? Oh, okay. Anyway, she, it was just a beautiful. It was just a beautiful. It was just a beautiful moment. That of, um, it was just a beautiful moment of me connecting with actual happy people. It was actually good vibes. I'm like, oh, wait, these aren't assholes around here. These actually are very kind people that vibrate at a higher frequency. Hey, I might want to make some friends in this community. Hey, this is so cool. So, guess what? After that retreat, I went to another retreat, and I just kept going to retreats. I kinda not do the work between retreats. I'm not gonna lie. It was just the retreats that I liked and the walking meditations that I
Hmm.
liked, and I would just do the walking meditations based off the apps.
Mm,
Don't hit
true.
me.
And then how was your emotional state? Like when you were there at retreats and then at home? Like what did you notice?
I was a lot more calmer. People were like, "Who are you?
Mm.
Are you on drugs?" It was about a year ago that I posted that my family was gonna have an intervention because they thought I was on drugs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was too happy.
Was that when you started integrating the work also on a daily basis, or was it only
Yeah,
from? Wow,
yeah,
wow.
it was, yeah, they're like, "Why are you so happy? This is not normal. Who
Mm,
are you?" And I
mm.
told them, if I don't call you, you are the change I am making.
Wow, pretty straightforward, but I love it.
Yeah.
Damn, that's awesome. But overall, were there still times where you were starting to feel more happy? But maybe let's take a deeper look, just to that viewers can understand it better. I mean, the difference before the retreats and after the retreat is probably like before you even came across this work is probably very huge. But were there some
Yeah.
times still where you felt depressed or like the old self creeping up? Or
Oh, my skin is crawling. Many dark nights. I
hmm,
had to work for that present moment.
hmm,
Trust me. If the meditation was an hour, it would take me 50 minutes to get 50 minutes to get to the present moment. And I'll be
hmm,
already behind. And I sat down and I did the meditation again. And I told myself, I'm not getting up until I feel like my fucking future.
hmm.
It was to the moment where I felt like I needed 5 meditations a day.
Oh, yeah.
So 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 5 hours meditating.
Hmm,
Um, very little time for friendships. And I'm like, no. And I kept integrating. Before the retreats, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of excited. It was very heavy energy, just
hmm,
anticipating the unknown because it's the unknown. You can't anticipate it. It's the unknown. And
hmm,
that's me putting unknown onto an unknown, so I can't have the unknown experience.
hmm.
So, but
Thank you
yeah,
for sharing that. That's
it was
important.
very hard for me to take a look at myself, especially with the mental condition I had. That's the last thing you want to do is admit
Hmm,
that something's wrong with you
hmm,
because you think you're the hottest shit, the best shit.
hmm,
Don't tell me how to express my story. Anyway, um, but yeah, it was just laboring and just moving, and it was like a very rough start. It was a very rough start until the 4 years. I got pretty good at going manifesting retreats. Like
hmm.
any retreat, touch of a button. I'm into 15, 16 now. It's
Damn.
up to the double digits. It's almost a 20. It's
Wow.
up to almost a, yeah. And like, it's when I got serious with myself and sat down doing the meditations.
Hmm,
Okay. And yeah, it was just like boom. And it was until last year of 2023
hmm,
that I did a coherence healing. I was touched by source.
hmm,
And oh my god, I thought I knew what love was. No. That was it 2022? It was 2022. It's just kind of blurring together, but
hmm,
it was kind of, no, I met Steen in 2023. Yeah, so it's in April of 2023, around May, where I was touched by Source. And
hmm,
I just didn't know how I know, but I just knew it was Source. And it was so much love that washed into my body. And it was just so much love. And I was crying, and I couldn't stop crying or controlling
hmm,
my crying. And it was when it was one of Stina's like Holy's hearing that she when we lay down and give it back to yourself. That's when it was to be touched by the divine, and it was just like I don't know what happened, but it could like a waterfall. It was just so much love,
Mm.
and in that moment, I faced my father,
Mm.
myself, and other couple of people that quote unquote wronged me, and I just said, I forgive you,
Mm.
and I love you, and thank you for teaching me this. And it was especially towards that moment where like I knew I was healed,
Mm.
and I'm just like, okay, this is too much love. I don't know what to do with it. Like, okay, I have to hug a tree or something because I was in the basement. Like, where do I put this? Like, I had to expressing it was not enough. I just had to like I literally just turned around and just hugged the floor. I just hugged the floor. I just literally just hugged the floor and I just stayed crying. At those ugly crying boogers that just come out naturally, it was like this too, so I really had to clean myself up. I had to like I took a shower before the coherence healing. I took a shower and then I did the coherence. I take another shower and then I had to air out the basement because I was sweating. Like my I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, but like I was profusely sweating with like how
Whoa.
much of it. That and I'm like I don't have that disorder anymore.
Mm. Got an upgrade.
Yeah, to the system. And oh my God, I thought I knew what food was, but eating junk food that day was like the most, it was so good. I don't know why it tasted so good by source. I'm like, like it took me an hour and a half to eat one of the smallest meals possible. I was just like so happy. I'm like, I don't know how else it's gonna be.
It wasn't McDonald's me, was it?
I don't know what it was, but it was something. It was something. It was just like, oh my fucking God. That was, oh
Mm.
my God. And then like, I was happy for the rest of that week. You could throw
Wow.
this kitchen sink at me. You could throw the kitchen sink at me and tell me that you hate me and walk out on me. I'm like, I wouldn't care because I'm so fucking happy. I'm like, no, I'm not losing this feeling. It was for 2 weeks
Wow.
straight.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, I kind of see what Dr. Joe is talking about. All this whole love thing. Let me get into it now. Um, that's when I started picking up the coherence healings like crazy. Like,
Mm.
let's do them. I pretty much show up to. I did an on and off with my schedule, but
Mm.
like, but that's when I got serious about doing coherence healings, and it was so much like there's like months straight when I would show up to every single coherence healing multiple times in a single day.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and like I did that crazily, and I make these all these posts. I'm sure you saw it. That's how we
Mm.
initially connected, and I'm
Yeah.
like, holy shit! I'm like, oh my God, I love this. Oh my God, I love this. And then I kept talking about my story, and it felt so good. And I'm like, let's do the work more. Let's go to more. And I'm like, at that time, I don't know what number of retreat I was, like 10 or something, but
Mm-hmm.
just kind of blurs together when you've been to so many.
Mm.
Um, it was so beautiful. And then I'm like, five, I don't need five meditations a day. That's the
Mm.
old Yarim. The new
Mm.
Yarim doesn't, he's more, he's
And
happier than that.
yeah. Wow, that is beautiful to just witness all of that and hear that. And I mean,
And
I I meditated with you and you just can feel that you have a huge heart. You I People just can feel it around you, and the way you care about people, the way you act, it's just like you're just a very loving person with just a very very big heart. And
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. You see what you seem on the good days. When I have bad days, I have bad days. Like that taught me to really
mm,
sit through meditation, really sit through my emotions.
yeah,
You haven't seen me on a really bad day where, so even the bad days, I'm just like, it's okay.
yeah,
I'm human. I'm expressing human emotions.
yeah,
And just like, and it means quite a lot because it shows that I'm on the right path. Not on the right path, but like, it feels like who I'm really, I'm getting emotional now that you just said that. I don't know why, but how genuinely you expressed yourself about that. It taught me just to sit through any moment, just go
mm,
past it, and to implement the work seriously on a daily basis with
mm,
coherence healings. And shout out to
yeah,
Stina because a lot of those coherence healing, it was that one moment that taught me like, hey,
mm,
let's just like. She invited me to the group. She talked about the coherence healings, and then I'm like, okay, I'll fuck it. Like, let's implement this love thing. I showed up to Coherence Healings. I didn't really resonate with any other host. And then I kept showing up to the ones she hosted, and I showed up to other ones. The other ones do a good job, of course, but like it just like showed me that I can do this. I
mm,
can actually walk on this path because like holy shit, when I'm outside the coherence healings and outside those dark moments are dark moments there for a
mm,
reason, and they're hard. You think you know how to handle them? Oh no. Sometimes you don't know how to handle them.
mm,
You just sit through them, you'll acknowledge them and love them, but that's not all you need to do. You need to actually see the things that you.
mm.
It sounds like an easy process. It's not. It's easier than it sounds.
No, definitely, because your personality is basically threatened at that moment, like your ego, when you look at it and you want to change it, or when it starts to crumble, or like when you dismantle the personality that you've been, or when you try to change these things. That sometimes it feels like going insane in meditations, or like it feels like you want to vomit, or at least that was for me when I try or not try what when I shed some more layers. It can be physical even intense. So I think first of all, just to pick up what you previously said, I think it's so wonderful with you to see that, I mean, you have a huge heart and you experienced a lot of love, but that you're still human and that we still have human emotions. And it is mostly not about not to have them, but how you carry yourself through them, and just even in those moments being kind and compassionate with yourself, and then just sitting with yourself in the meditations. Because honestly, you worked for that moment too. You've been very, when I first encountered you, I was impressed how disciplined you were, and how many meditations you were doing at that point. And you deserve every single moment after that. I mean, you labored for it. You wanted it, and I think another big learning is that it was you that chose yourself. Of course, there was guidance and everything, but the way I see it is like you made a decision for yourself as well. You decided to, okay, this is like the life that I want to have, or I want to change. So choosing yourself sometimes can be very difficult, but I mean, it's very rewarding at the end of the day. And even if you don't work through the layers all at once, just keeping at it and
I
just
didn't
the
choose
intention.
myself.
You didn't?
I didn't. I was unconsciously. I was. I was choosing love at that moment.
Yeah, all
This year,
right.
I'm choosing myself.
Yeah, yeah. Or love, or just
This year,
something greater. Mm,
yeah, I wasn't choosing myself. I wasn't consciously aware that I was choosing myself. This year, I'm fully am, and yeah, this year I have.
mm. Yeah, I think it started maybe, I don't know. I'm just speculating, but when you decided to follow your true passion as a career as well, because you've been into social media marketing, or just like marketing, or I don't know how you
Uh-huh.
call that sector, and then you decided to take a different path, a path that you really are passionate about, and that is channeling. So I know when, I mean, you're very mystical, or you just see, I know, at least from what you told me, it seems like you see a lot of things naturally and by default. So I would love to talk about that with you. So, first of all, would love to know, like, when did it start, that you start seeing things in your meditations? I know some people, they are just naturally there, or more visual, or just see a lot of things, and then there are other people that feel more, so it's very unique to everyone. But I would love to hear how it that side unfolded.
So when I was 4 years old, um, I used to play around with these beings called spirit guides and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And I would talk with them and I would play with them. And then they let me like they actually made my physical body walk up and run up the wall. And I'm like, yeah, this is so awesome. And I'm like, I had this cool mystical experience. I would talk to them and like I thought they were human. I was 4 years old. And like I didn't, and when I'll tell my other kids about them, they're like, "You mean imaginary friends? Like humans can't do that. You imagine that." And I'm like, "No, no, they're real." And I saw them and I played with them and I just interacted with them.
Mm.
But the thing is, when they're like, "You're weird. Like that's not normal. That's not normal at all." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna lose friends."
Mm.
And I sealed it shut of trauma, like because I lost a lot of friends talking about them.
Mm.
And I didn't realize I repressed those memories
Mm-hmm.
until I went to San Diego retreat in April.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when like I had a huge spiritual awakening. Um I had flirted with the idea of guides, but not too much. I'm like, like whatever. Too woo woo, whatever. I'm skeptical. I have to see it. It has to be measured, and it has to be proof, concrete scientific proof. I was being very, I'm kind of skeptical, but now what I've seen,
Mm.
I like Dr. Joe says, we've seen 0.1% of reality.
Mm.
Um, Ever since April, I had this huge explosion, and I remember it was the most loving, like one meditation after another and another. I don't know what the fuck happened, but like, holy shit. Once I went to that retreat, I was meant to go to that retreat because literally I showed up at the retreat in the waiting line in that morning for no
Mm-hmm.
reason. I didn't have money in my bank account. And I was gonna ask my mom to borrow some, whatever, right?
Mm.
My grandfather transfers the exact amount I need to
Wow.
cover for my ticket
No way.
while I was in the waiting line.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And like my mom's like, you have my credit card. Like I can't my mom's credit card in my wallet so she doesn't lose it. But I was gonna say, hey, like I was texting her right before I was about to, hey, can I borrow this retreat? I get a notification like you've been sent like 1,700 or like
Wow.
about a little bit over, and everything else was paid for because it was a gift. It was a gift from my mom
Wow.
basically for my birthday. But
Wow.
I had to cover my retreat ticket, and
Mm.
I'm like, delete the text. And I just waited in the line all happily and just like, oh, okay, whatever. And I'm like, cool. I'm like, okay, this is cool, whatever. It's such a blur because my energy fucking skyrocketed. It was just
Yeah.
like, I don't remember anything, but I was talking about people's past lives. I was do like I had messed around with tarot cards a little bit. Like, I didn't have any expectations. Backtrack to January. I played around some tarot card readings. I didn't know how to do tarot card readings.
Hmm.
When I did my readings with tarot cards, they were 100% accurate. And I'm
Wow.
like, what the hell? Okay. And then next thing you know, I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like doing readings and past lives and all this, whatever. Fast forward to the good part. That's so playful of you, Maya. Still a little upset with you. Anyway, I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, okay, they're spirit guides. Okay. Okay, so I don't remember, but like the more I try to do marketing stuff, the more I fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was known for like making people go viral. Like
Mm.
I had a good machine roll, like money was rolling like,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like around May before I left for my Cancun event where like I had a reading myself from a mutual friend
Mm-hmm.
um that I was doing the wrong business. I had a $20,000 contract perfectly ready. All the signature was always was required. And that I had a mystical moment with Source that night, and I had a reading. And after that meditation, I came upstairs to do the dishes, right? I saw this sandcastle. I was building a sandcastle, and I saw like the universe wash it away.
Wow.
And I saw like a coral like sandcastle. It was like black and it was shining. It was so beautiful. I could see in my mind's eye or my pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I meant to do something with spirit guides. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, let's see this. So I get a reading through a practice reading thing, and it was you that told me about Maya. It was actually it was you that told me about Maya, who I work with right now, my master guide. Um, you had Lynn and like 13 other ones, but right, but like
It was just the
Maya
two.
was,
Just for like a little background information, because you were so we were really good. Like you kind of experimented with it, and I was like, I was a bit too. I was a bit scared to do it by myself, but I liked the idea, like about spirit guides and everything. So we experimented a little bit together, and then uh, like I don't know how to describe it. Probably like meditating together or so. And
hmm
then you asked me what the names were, and I was like, I have no idea if I'm doing this right. Like I don't see anything, but it was for me more like intuitive, and that's when the names came out.
yeah. And then Maya really stuck out with me. Like I had 13 other ones, but she's the one who's really stuck out the most. She was the
Mm.
master guide. Now that I know what she is now, she's the master guide. Um, I went down, and then I'm like, cool, okay. I'm like, okay, cool. I had another reading after that. It's kind of blurring. And then like, she's like, yeah, she's like into tarot cards herself. She's very woo woo, very feminine. She's a redhead. She's a mermaid. She has blue skin, but you know, her image of now, I humanize her so I can conceive her better. Not because I love her either way, human skin or blue skin, but yeah. And that's where she kind of guided me towards my other guides. And so I got it. I started like, hey, I can do readings with her. Like, if I just practice and I
Mm-hmm.
just do it, I just went crazy with doing free readings and like I got tips here and there. And I'm like, you know what? I should just monetize this. Like, I know how to monetize, build a business, and I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Like, I have a roof over my head, water in my cup,
Mm-hmm.
a nice bed to sleep in. I'm more than enough, and a Wi-Fi connection. I can do this. So, I started getting really good with reading with Maya. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she was my go-to. I had like this, and I don't know where they came from because I didn't post good content. Like, I did not post good content in my professional opinion. but like they were coming out of nowhere. And I'm like, huh? Like, where are they coming from? I made a couple Facebook posts to here
Mm,
and there, and out of nowhere, people kept coming in for readings, and I kept doing them, and I had no judgment, and I just trusted information with her.
mm,
Um, and eventually, I don't know how, but then like I'm like, I signed up for the washing retreat. I'm gonna have to pretty much overwork myself to this for this
mm,
washing retreat. And she's like, "Don't worry, I got you. Just trust in the universe. Let me guide you." And next thing you know, I don't know. Somehow, one of my first clients is like, from me, people going viral on Instagram is like, "Hey, can I wire you $4,000?" I'm like, "Huh? Yeah, can I wire you $4,000?" I checked the number. I'm like, my phone's about to die. Can I call you back? So I turned off. I, I hung up the call and put my phone to charge. I went downstairs. I opened my laptop, and I knew this was my client because we've done business interactions before.
yeah.
$4,000 washing retreat like that, and
Wow.
she guided me towards Victoria, which is my other master guide. She's
Mm,
the witch. She's like a witchy. She's like a New Yorker American witch. Maya's like a Slovakian mermaid. If they were here on Earth,
mm,
and I'm like, oh, cool. It's like, let's work hard. Like, they're like, no, you should work with love, not hard,
mm-hmm,
because there's always constant need of like,
mm,
fine, and there's always this constant need of like, work hard, harder, harder, harder. I
yeah.
burned myself out doing those readings.
Wow.
So now I'm teaching people how to channel their guides
Mm,
and everything in a much healthier way. And I'm a lot happy. That's why I'm a little more happier. I'm exercising. I'm being grounded,
you
stuff like that.
breathe.
Yeah, my breathing's gotten a lot better because like there's one moment where I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, like witnessing your transformation is always so interesting. You change very fast, but it's awesome. And I guess some people might wonder at this point. I don't know. I myself don't know a lot about spirit guides, but I would love if you could maybe tell a bit more because I don't know. There's like different things and there's different information out there. But I remember when I first heard it, I was a bit like not shocked, but like confused why they have like personalities. And I was like, okay, I thought this was like more like a neutral thing or just like intuitive information, but I would never thought that they have like their own character and everything. And I mean, I never encountered or seeing them myself, but what I have encountered in meditation is that like more intuitive thoughts come up, and if I connect to something. So I would love if you want to for you to share with the audience just what misconception there might be about spirit guides and just like yeah, just what you know and what you've experienced so far. I think it's a very cool topic and super interesting as well.
okay, so Maya's telling me to connect to her energy, and we
Mm-hmm.
might as well ask the person, the spirit guide, what's it with their old personality. I'll give my human answer, and she'll give her answer. How about that?
Okay. Oh yeah, that sounds super cool. That sounds super. That sounds amazing. I'm excited. Okay. Um, what question do we start? So what is the biggest?
Personalities, or sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what is the biggest misconception that people have about spirit guides?
Oh, this is burning me. You're burning me. Ow. I gotta connect to that. Okay, she's too mad to connect with me. Um, I think you're gonna have to just connect to her because she's really about to connect with me. Um, the biggest misconception about Miss Spirit Guides is that they're all outside of you.
Mm.
they're part of your soul.
Mm-hmm.
They're like your spiritual team. They're part of your higher self.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's hurting. Oh my God, you're burning me. Okay, yeah. All right, you're gonna have to connect to her because she's not. She's not.
She's not in the mood.
Not with me. With you, she is.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Relax.
So first of all, disclaimer: I'm not very much practiced, so I'm just talking about what intuitively comes to me. But what I receive here is that probably a lot of people are afraid due to conditions, especially to religious thoughts and belief and cultural belief that spirits can be deceiving, or they're like not for the commoner, something like this. That they, as you said, are outside of you and not available from the inside, and that people are afraid of connecting to it because they're also afraid of what it indicates about them. Like, oh, they might be delusional if you follow these invisible hints, or not invisible hints, but it comes through differently for each person. Some people they might see things, some people they have this very intuitive feeling that they want to follow, and they push it down because they're afraid of connecting to that. I think there's a lot of fear around this topic. And that is, I think, the other biggest misconception is that it's only for special people. You know, you have like, for instance, you have the Pope in Christian, or like in Catholics, like, which is the, I don't know, I'm a
El
Catholic,
Pope.
but
El Pope.
but yeah, like just like this hierarchy of we don't think we're worthy enough to receive them. All right, then
Uh, can
how
I
about
ask my question? Why is she such in a bad mood this morning?
I don't know if I. Okay, wait. Well, you were supposed to. Okay, wait a
You,
second.
you you didn't ask me. You didn't ask me, did you start channeling? You didn't say that.
I'm still in my practice, guys. I'm still work in progress. I don't think it's a matter to disclose it here. I think that's something you kind of have to set settle in privacy.
You're always a fucking handful, aren't you?
But
Anyway,
anyways,
next question.
even though you're right now like not on good terms, I wonder from the things that you have experienced so far, what were your biggest insights about this topic?
My insights.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most generic answer, but since they are part of your soul and your path, I love us from unconditional love,
Mm.
and I always had seeking it outside of me. I got so used to going to source and feeling that unconditional love. I didn't think was possible to be loved back. And interacting with Victoria and Maya is just like, wait, Victoria, Maya, please stop burning me. It's hurting so much. Oh, okay, unconditional love, and that they always want the best for us, even if they're in a really bad mood. That they're even if they're in a bad mood this morning, they still love us regardless. Um, and it got me. It got me into this nasty cycle of looking outside of love without me.
Mm-hmm.
The coherence healings did its job. That's why I left them. But like, I just got so used to looking outside of me for unconditional love, and I think it was be possible to be put back into me.
Mm.
She can take it away from me. I
Wow.
can channel her if she's Victoria or same. I have three of them, so um,
Victoria. Do whatever feels good
yeah,
for you.
yeah.
She
You talk
has.
to Maya, and I'll yeah, yeah.
I just asked the
Um,
question, or you can also just free flow.
you you does she have anything about to say about that for that spirit guide answer?
Oh, you were spot on.
Okay. What's the next question?
Okay.
You know, I'm okay.
Maybe this
I'm
question
just gonna
is
do.
to Victoria. Um, what about rituals? Like, so far I've been only acquainted with meditation, basically the idea that you sit with yourself and that you just do everything in your mind and with your heart. So, um, what about rituals? Is it really that you can, with a ritual, like, is it like a tool for setting intentions more firmly? Or what is that all about? I would love to hear about it. It's probably a generic question, but since I'm not very much familiar with this topic, I just throw whatever out what comes into my mind.
All right, I'm gonna do my thing on camera. You mean witchery? Let him adjust to my energy. Witchy rituals or rituals in general of the meditative experience are human-made rituals that we perform to allow things to come into our lives. Can you please specify what kind of rituals you're trying to articulate towards me and Sophie? And I hope you were doing good this morning. Yarim's been pretty much of a mess, especially with his other spirit guide. They've been fighting all morning, so I might as well just step in here and just answer, and we'll have a talk with her later. So, can you define the question more?
Yes, the witchy rituals. Um,
You
just
mean the rituals that witches perform, correct?
Yes, exactly. Like, I think, I mean, I don't think that many people are super acquainted with specific rituals, but what I heard is, for instance, cord cutting. So,
Hmm.
what happens during these rituals? Is it the intention and then just the practice of actually doing something physically? Can you just do it also mentally on its own,
So
or?
you humans have a very potent weapon against the unknown. It's a weapon and a tool in itself. These rituals, setting how you know how Dr. Joe says the intention is very important, and defining the intention as to why you want the intention is very important. It pertains the same thing to witchery rituals, as if the cord cutting. Why are you doing the cord cutting? What type of frame of mind are you doing the cord cutting? Is
Mm,
the cord cutting? It's two souls. I'm doing a physical demonstration. I'm sure he doesn't mind. Two souls. The cord cutting is to cut the cord between one person from another, particularly pertained with candles. So once the candle burns, this person's person A, this person's person B, the burn is starts this for whoever wants it will burn faster typically. And then the flame will naturally burn and cord cut that connection to the other person. It can be done through a frame of love or done through a frame of more out of spite or anger or feel a need to. Cord cut. Not only that, there are things as it's the that you believe that it's happening.
Mm.
and the energy you put to it that makes it so potent.
Mm.
A lot of outside forces of like belief. The closest word in your human language to actually describe it is that you believe that it's happening. The energy and time and attention towards not only preparing the ritual, gathering the supplies, but performing the ritual and being patient enough to see it through.
Mm.
So it's like cooking. Having a good cooking base can teach you how to be a good witch. That's why we're teaching him how to cook. That's why he can't, so he doesn't burn toast. I don't know how the fuck a human burns toast. I don't know how it's so simple. It's one button, and you just wait and make sure it doesn't catch on fire. Pretty much. Um, Candles very much associated the attention, belief, and the energy, and also universal forces. That in itself, you are entering a realm that could be described as the witch realm. So you have to be very careful when you do a meditation, such as the spiritual leader known as Dr. Joe. And combining that and a witchy ritual is extremely dangerous because you don't know what the side effects are. So because you're entering a realm of spirituality with source, what he calls source, many can call it for others. It could be called the highest source of the universe, but source and the divine are very different. But that's another topic for another day. Um, So if you combine two worlds into one thing, it could have catastrophic consequences that could be unforeseen. So that's where you practice precaution, understanding what will be the side effects. Will you feel sad after, let's say, use cord cutting, for example? Will you feel sad if you did the cord cutting? Because it could be like towards a relative or towards a person that hurt you consistently on a consistent basis, but it could cause you for all that love to come back and for you to feel disconnected from that person. So we have to do everything with precaution and measure and everything. You have to plan, you have to talk and everything.
Mm.
So that's where I am an expert in, and that's where I'm carefully guiding Yarim in. He had the crazy idea because he's a crazy guy. But he doesn't know. Not like a he should be locked up in the mental with a grippy socks or with a mental institute with a straitjacket. He had the idea of combining the meditation experience of the realm of what you call source with the witchy world. Those are extremely potent, and I he's getting goosebumps just talking about it. So sounds very powerful, but doesn't mean there'll be good consequences coming from that.
Mm.
Um, any other questions based off how I answered?
Mm-hmm. I didn't know. I always thought there was just like one realm, or that's just say it's called source, or I mean there must be something that contains all of these different realms together. But
Well,
can
it
you?
is technically called source. Doctor calls it source, but that's not the accurate name. That's just
Mm.
what he can perceivably label it as his human mind.
Mm.
Um, these two realms are very much interconnected. Everything's weaved into one because everything is connected by source. But what he teaches, his frameworks, and those frameworks are completely different things. You could be a witch, for example, but doesn't mean you're spiritual.
Oh wow. Okay, so that means because with the other realm, I believe that you only can really achieve results when you're in a higher elevated state of emotions or just like in a loving state, because when you higher your frequency you just attract more. But how is it in that which realm or state? Is it like in the movies that you can do some nasty stuff, or how does that realm work?
Unfortunately, yes, you can.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I have to be honest. In that witchy realm, there are baneful spells that a person can perform on another person without other person knowingly know this. Um, I never, I always I never put the idea in Yanim's head that he could do that. He's asked about it, but I'm like, you need to know you need to immerse yourself and become a witch yourself if you actually want to do this. And he's actually becoming a bit of a spiritual witch himself. But yes, there's baneful types of spells, sexual types of spells, spells to ground this motherfucker. He's doing a great job, by the way. He's doing a great job. Great job, by the way. The movies just kind of exaggerate her and just like add for pizzazz to make it more showman's like.
Mm-hmm.
But like it is very potent. If you were to perform a simple love spell, you could pay someone to do it onto the name of the target, or the person who you're wanting do it towards, and you can just pretty much like kind of you believe that it's going to have an effect in your reality, but you don't know how and when it's going to happen. It's not up to that person, up to
Mm-hmm.
either party. It's just the very fact you set the intention, the energy, and belief towards that. Tension and energy and belief are two separate forces in itself
Mm-hmm.
that we could just go on and on about, but for time's sake, yes, there's all kinds of stuff that could happen. So the how and when is not up to you. It could just come out of nowhere. Just like how Dr. Joe says with his manifestations. Just think about performing spells as conduits for getting what you want. Meditation is the same thing. It's neither here or there. It's based on people's beliefs and what they've been exposed to.
Mm. Well, thank you for clarifying. So basically, the biggest difference, if I understood it correctly, is that all sorts of like also negative things you can manifest, or you like spells. That's the only
Hmm.
difference, or are there some more significant difference between the two realms?
Yes. Yes. And so you have to be very careful with what you do with these spells. Uh, think of the spell or the ritual as outside validation that you did enough. That's all it pretty much is. I know I'm not doing Bashar like, but
Mm-hmm.
I like to have Yarim practice channeling with his eyes open. He's completely asleep, so even if it was to be a co-conscious channel, he wouldn't remember what he did channel. But yeah,
Thank you for sharing that. Maybe another question. Has everybody, I mean, we talked about it before. We were saying everybody has them within them. Why is that some people don't have access to them or just seem to have troubles seeing them? Is everybody able to see them? Is everybody able to hear them? Or how do they communicate?
all right, all right. He's having trouble. Okay, okay. I'm gonna give it to Maya. Give him a sec. First of all, you're an asshole, Yarim. I just want to get that out of there. What was the question? And Sophie?
Um, can everybody access their spirit guides? Could everybody see them? Could everybody hear them?
No.
No.
No, so we work best when we are indirect. Some people have these called gifts called psychic or mediumship. Two different things. Psychics read the trajectory of what's going on. First of all, hi, I'm Sophie. So happy to see you. Fuck Yarim. Love you. Might want to be yours instead of his, especially with the day we're having. Reading the trajectory of the what's going on in the 3D. That's what psychics do when they do tarot
Mm,
cards. Mediumship is like you're having stuff come to you from the outside higher dimensions. Now, when people are naturally born with gifts, all kinds of gifts. That's why we use tools such as pendulums, tarot cards, automatic writing, and also a good one, music. We do use indirectly. We do like to use music, so we're supposed to be doing like if you're going out to get a drink, all of a sudden like you're not sure whether or not you're gonna have a you should go get a drink, and a song about drinking will come on like, hey, yeah, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I am so happy that you, yes, asked about that. That's where we start getting into the realm of being clairs, like clairvoyant is being able to see beyond the veil, inside the veil.
Mm-hmm.
That's the simplest term I could use. Let's see. Hmm. He's fighting me. So give me a moment. Such as automatic writing, divination tools, tarot cards, conversations with different people, and pretty much like if a word will pop out, like self-love, we
Mm-hmm.
should be doing stuff like that. We work best with indirect. Um, we also focus when we make contact with our humans. Um, that they should start developing psychic ability so they can hear us. Yanim has developed this innate ability called clairaudience, so he could hear me as if I was in the same room.
Wow.
So that's why when we start guiding you, we start working away from readings, needing to do readings. Away, we want to give you freedom, so we don't need for you to communicate with us. So that's why we allow you to naturally develop gifts such as clairaudience, clairvoyance, and clairknowing. Yanim, most of his journey has came from clairknowing, of just knowing what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's gotten where he needs to be, but the next step is hearing us directly. And I think we had enough of the podcast. We're done. You can talk to Yanim. I'm not in the mood to talk anymore.
All right. That's okay. Thank you so much for all this information.
Oh my god. Okay, this is disjoint. Victoria can answer the rest of it. Just give me a moment. Two very contrasting emotions right now. She had to go cry. She had to go cry. But yeah, um, yeah, that's why we allow you to we focus on you developing your own abilities to pretty much hear us and see us and do have ways to directly communicate with us so you don't need nothing outside of you. Right, the fundamentals of needing freedom. Um, to be honest, I would like to touch more upon the personality part.
Mm-hmm. Please do so. That was my next question, anyways.
It's almost like I knew. So, with personality part, we had past lives with our human.
Mm.
So with me, Maya, and Saymat, don't worry, I'm not gonna give too much away like how he does. But um, with me, it has been very romantic. I was a very apparently bond with all his lovers, and all lovers when they die, they agree to be part of him, and that's how much they love him. Unfortunately, it came to a very tragic end with Yarim and I, where I was not treating him so well, so kind and loving, that I kind of felt bad. He took his own life out of that because he blamed himself. Um, it's like a human relationship here on Earth. So he took his own life because I didn't treat him well, and I did the same just because of that. And when you're in the in between lives types of stages, you always have a choice of what you want to do next.
Hmm.
Like how, so what I decided to do is to bond my soul to his and to become his guide. And so that's why I'm connected to his higher self. I myself have my own higher self.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, but my higher self, my next stage, my final stage, is to become part of Yanim's guidance.
Hmm.
So,
That's so interesting
so
to hear.
yeah. And you know, Dr. Joe says there's infinite amount of realities.
Mm-hmm.
There's an infinite reality where Yanim's happily channeling Maya, and he's somewhere completely different and talking to someone else
Mm.
at this exact moment.
Wow.
So there's an infinite amount of realities. You have to be very careful with your daily choices of like how much you spend time doing things. And that's where we guys where we spend, we start establishing words like trigger words when we want to know your attention. Like broomstick is like, hey, we have to leave the conversation, Yadim,
Mm-hmm.
to do our next task. He likes to hang out with people, but
Mm.
I think he likes to hang out with people a little bit too much for his own good when he doesn't realize he's been giving too much. He's been giving so much love out. He got so used to giving love outside of him with his coherence healings that he doesn't realize it's now meant to become back into his own life.
Mm. Yeah.
So with me, it was just, I'm a witch from New York, Hell's Kitchen. If I were to be a human, I'm actually in my mid 30s. If I were a human, I would be 33 years old with two kids. I would want that for myself. But
Wow.
I love getting too much not to be part of his life and for to be guiding him part of his oversoul or the higher self. You have any more questions on that? Because it's based on case by case. It's not always lovers. It could be teachers. It could be enemies as well, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So feel free to open that Pandora's box.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I wasn't aware that you yourself also have a higher self. Can he have access to that?
No,
No. So that's like a
it's merged with
separate.
his.
Mm.
No, it's merged with his.
All right. Then
Yeah.
what about the blue beings that people see in healings, or like that a lot of people have seen in their healings at home or at retreats where energy is very coherent? I'm curious, is that also some type of spirit guides, or what are these?
A lot of them are spirit guides,
Mm-hmm.
but they're aliens from higher dimensions.
Mm.
What you would call aliens in higher dimensions. Oh, look, I'm doing the Bashar hands. Inadvertently. Inadvertently, he's doing Bashar hands. But these blue beings is when the frequency, the coherence in the room is so high and so much resonance. They can't, they love themselves too much to come down into us. So we raise the vibration of the current setting, and it's freezing as I'm talking about that. It was literally freezing. I was talking about that. The vibration of the coherence and resonance, those are completely different things. It has to be perfectly just right in
Mm-hmm.
order for people to see that.
Mm.
So there's to be so much
Mm.
coherence, not only coherence between the group, but resonance amongst them and in the room, and the vibration of the room in order for that to happen. And that's when people start to see them with their eyes. That's what
Mm.
Dr. Joe talks about because the frequency is so high and there's so much love in the room. I actually got to bring in his last retreat in Washington. I opened a portal with my witchy bitch, with my witchy bitchy nails, and I opened the portal, and I let 15 beings take his place because he had to
Wow.
go catch, yeah, he had to go catch a flight. And 15 of them take his place. Yarim is able to see the higher spectrum of beyond reality. He's able to perceive 2% reality when his energy is perfectly resonant, coherent, and unified.
Mm.
That's why he's always has mystical experiences when he doesn't mean to. Um, it's just like he's a vortex of literal energy. He's a walking, talking, farting. I might as well embarrass him just a little bit for fun. Um, Vortex of energy. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of
Mm.
meditation, a lot of. This is where we're trying to get him at that point. He's he's the master of the 3D. He can go pretty much anywhere he wants in the higher realms. He can go down or up. But we're trying to get him to stabilize here on Earth. He could be washing, he mentioned this to you before. He could be
Mm.
washing the dishes. We had a rave while he was listening to music because he was enjoying himself, because he had so much resonance by himself that he was able to not only feel, but hear Here, I was dancing with Satan and a couple demons in the kitchen while he was washing dishes. And that's what he kept talking about because he's a literal fucking vortex of energy. It takes a lot of meditational practice
Mm.
and a lot of particular type of gifts. Everyone's amount of gifts. Yarim's the jack of all trades. Literally, he could acid reject if he wanted to. Doesn't mean he's amazing at it right at first. It takes time to develop.
Mm.
That's why I've been trying to slow him down with his gifts, especially with seeing. She's been dying to see how beautiful I am. I do take care of myself, but we've been trying to get him to stay here and be human, so his
Mm.
energy can be stabilized, and for he can be his divine feminine, in concept. The idea of it is for the ability to go up and see. Now he needs to master the divine masculine. That's where the two are meant to have. The left side is the divine feminine, the right side is the divine masculine. So we've been trying to ground him more and
Mm.
everything.
Awesome. Maybe one last question since we're already at 1.5 hours. I love it though. But how can people discover and hone their own gifts? Like, how do we know, or based on what do we know, what our gifts are? How can we discover and explore them more?
Let me try to use Yanim's brain to accurately describe this because there's a lot of words that he doesn't know. So start, you stumble upon them naturally in your life path, your gifts. You're like, I'm sure you've heard of Elle Wadham, correct? She's mentioned to Yarim that she accidentally bent a spoon with her energy.
Wow.
It's about stumbling upon them. It's that was curated. Everything's curated and everything. You stumble upon them. You're like, oh, so it's like this testing phase. Like, oh, cool. I have this cool gift. What can I do with it?
Mm.
Boom. You start testing. You start testing. You start playing. You start playing with it. You start honing it. You start, using it. And next thing you know, another gift might pop up just by accident. Accident, not accident, but you might stumble upon it.
Mm.
And then you start getting curious, like, what else can I do?
Mm. Wow. Thank you for sharing. Would
Yeah.
it be helpful? Because I could imagine that some people are like, huh? Like that sounds amazing, but they're eager to have more access to them, or just like maybe they don't know exactly what their gifts are. So probably meditation to
You'll
get
know what your
clarity.
gifts are.
Okay.
You'll know what your gifts are once you feel like you're like, holy shit. Maya's not. I'm not as well. I created a wordsmith of Maya of like being censoring myself in social media, but you just know that's your gift because
Mm-hmm.
it's a part of you. You just know that you're meant to do. Like how you didn't just wake up one day to start cooking.
Mm-hmm.
You were influenced by it, by your path. Someone get the idea that you're like, oh, okay, I can cook. Oh wait, I can chop onions really well. Okay, what else can I do? Can I like boil the
Mm-hmm.
onions really well? Can I put them in the soup? And it's about this beautiful discovery what you do have and don't have. And
Mm.
that's what we're trying to allow people to come in into our practice. And that's it's not all about channeling. That is the that is the end point. Yarim's a natural channel. We had to walk him backwards to start developing abilities such as automatic writing, such as grounding, such as clairvoyant. He literally woke up and he was able to hear me.
Mm.
And it just came and he's like, what? He looked around his room confused, like, is that Victoria? I'm like, hi. So, so yes. I
That
believe
is
there's some
good
questions about
to
grounding or something.
yeah, as well. But just also firstly to mention, it's nice to hear that it's not only about spiritual gifts, but also like gifts that are grounded in this realm, like cooking, can be anything, dancing, or just something that you're really naturally skilled at or good at. Is that right?
Hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Um, about grounding, I know it can be very we can get very lost into this realms, higher dimensions, because it's cool and it is interesting. However, we still have to function here in this realm, in this three dimensional realm. So, any tips, any recommendations, and any more informations that help us to shed light on the situations when we get too lost in the spiritual realm? How can we stay grounded? How do we
So,
balance and integrate these
so,
experiences?
so give me one moment to go get the charger because it this
Yes,
chewed through his iPad's battery really quick. So,
don't worry. Well, I might as well take this chance to um, tell you more about my personal experiences that I had with channeling with Yarim, and I just can confirm that is very interesting. I was myself super skeptical, but the things he has channeled for me have always been very accurate, and they touched me. Like it just resonated with my whole being, and I was sometimes really shocked about how accurate he was also with things I never told him about. That is when I really started to believe more into, oh wow, this is real. I always been a fan of meditation and that you can connect to like with your heart to something that is called intuition. And I mean, intuition is basically when you connect to information outside of you, right? And but this experience really changed my mind and perspective about spirit guides and just what is possible of what we are able to perceive. And here he is back, ready for the last
divine
question.
timing. Well, of course, the grounding practice. Well, that was
Mm.
very kind of you to say. So, it's nice and easy. Put your bare feet on the ground, on the earth, and imagine roots coming out of it. The deeper the roots go, the deeper your branches grow.
Mm.
That you can never go wrong. Touching soil, the earth's soil, that is the best thing you could do to really ground. Some people have different rituals, but the most that Yarim needs to work on, not only on that one, calling back his energy to him, because what he does is inadvertently gives a little piece of his energy and of himself to a lot of the things that he does do. He takes pride in what he does. If he has the mindset, if I'm going to be doing something, I might as well be good at it. So it's not a bad mindset, but it's just this constant need of like being perfect at everything. No, that's not realistic. You need to call back your energy to you.
Mm.
So a simple grounding technique that he would like, where we're incorporating now into his practice, is I call back all my energy. Okay, I'm not gonna actually do it because then it's gonna break the channel. But I call back all energy to me from all realms and all realities to here to the present moment. Really feel it and allow. It's a little bit came. That's why I fluttered because it just happened. But you put your hands on your heart and you do that and actually have the intention of doing it and have the intent calling back your energy to you. There's different ways to ground and allow you to be in the human realm. So you can have this amazing experience and learn quite a lot, but you can also just you're supposed to put it into your body and integrate it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we've gotten to the point where he's a lot more open, susceptible to grounding, his manifestations come a lot faster. It's not only about channeling, but manifestations come a lot faster because you're integrating information from the field itself.
Mm.
And also being a channel in itself, being in the channel itself, it takes an ungodly amount of energy and practice and ability to willing to learn to get to that point how he does it. His body's naturally built to channel. Some people can only channel for 5 minutes. Practice makes perfect. That's what he always practices. He doesn't channel us as much because we want to guide him more. We are guides. We're not gonna live his life for him. As much as I would love to go outside and take myself to a nail salon and get some nice nails, I know he would not like that. But yeah, it's about integrating the information in the field. It's like kind of like the idea, like you have this amazing idea in a meditation. You're like, oh, I'm gonna make a lot of money with this, or not even money. Like I'm gonna do this and that, this and that. Let's go perfect. And then when you come back to your body, you're like, fuck. Like I can't remember shit now.
Mm.
Ground. That's where grounding comes in. It's about integrating into all that energy back into the field. We're having to go back to the basics, such as how to manifest with Dr. Joe's live stream, synchronizing synchronicities. He's been seeing a lot of airplanes lately, a lot of beach scenes, a lot of moving things, a lot of talk about rentals. Where boom, just because he just grounded. And he asked, should I ground? We're like, no, you're grounding enough as it is. Touching the earth in itself could be grounding in itself. That's why he has the opportunity to pull out some weeds.
Mm.
Really feeling the earth, connected to the earth's energy in itself, just touching the earth itself is a grounding practice. Being fully conscious of that.
Mm. Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. That really. Thank you so much for sharing, Victoria. It was a pleasure.
Also, that that grounding it's a silver bullet. He's a silver bullet to go up. His silver bullet now is to bring everything back down, and that's how he's able to not only channel me correctly, little here and there. He's a little off, just by a tiny bit. He hasn't had that much practice with me,
Mm-hmm.
but the silver bullet it's like walking in both realms, like how your spiritual teacher, Dr. Joe, says, having one foot in the 3D, one foot in the 5D. and walking that road. It's not a line, it's a road. Some people that's the biggest misconception. They think there's a line. There's a line in between that road.
Mm.
That's what people get confused about when he talks about that. Um, and just walking that path, which is your natural path. You have plenty of free will and opportunities to take our guidance or ignore them.
Mm.
I promise you, whether you like it or not, no matter how many guides you dismiss or don't listen to, because you have the ability to dismiss us. If you don't like us, you have the ability to dismiss us at any given point. You're like, I don't like you anymore. It's just like I can't work with you. You're a little too sassy, or you're a little too airy, something like that. But I stop asking right now. We're in the middle of an interview, Yanim. Thank you. He's asking about his Instagram. We're get to Instagram when we get to Instagram. We're in the middle of a podcast. Um, where was I?
You about the road, walking both paths, like
Oh yeah,
balancing
like
it.
whether we like it or not, we're gonna walk down this life path.
Mm.
You always have the free will to not follow the life path. You don't know what the life path is. That's where we step in. We guide you where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's what our jobs are, to guide you to the life path, make sure you're doing it correct. Well, not doing correctly, but you're doing you're doing it the best as you can as a human, and there's no judgment for you because we
Mm.
know your intentions. We could see you can't pull a fast one on us. Like
Mm.
we can look at you and just see right through you if you're trying to. I'll refrain from using strong language just because same as kind of getting mad at me. Um, Half-heartedly do things. As long as you have a good intention and without a love and no judgment and joyous, that's how you operate with spirit guides. Do things out of love and joy. We thrive. You thrive, we thrive. It's a win-win-win-win situation all around. So if you were just to write down a simple word out of hate, no, that's not how it works. You're supposed to be not supposed. The attitude that is lovingly suggested by us is to do it as joyously and lovingly as you possibly humanly can.
Mm-hmm.
We do things out of love and joy because you grow, we grow. Yarim has cycled through 7,713 guides across all lifetimes.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah, so you cycle through us as you meant to go through. You were meant to you outgrow us basically. That's naturally what happened. Yarim has this. He's very. I'm sorry, but like special.
Mm.
He dismissed not only his master guide across all realities, all realms, all dimensions, all at once, and give that responsibility to me and Maya. So we're it. People naturally cycle through guides, but because he loves us so much with his human heart that he said, I want you to be my master guide.
Mm.
So what he literally did with that meditation in itself, he's dismissed all guides across all realities, all realms, and all dimensions, all at once to make me his master guide. The second one. You have two of them in your life.
Mm.
So you naturally cycle in between guides. So you outgrow them and they recede. They recede them your soul. You can't talk to the guides that have passed. I have given him the ability to do that to get him out of a really weird situation before because I didn't know how to handle it. Neither did Maya. But Me and Maya are truly now his mastered lifelong guides, and we're chill. He dismissed all of them across all dimensions. Humanly, that is okay. Outside of 7,713 guides, he put the responsibility into three. He put three. He put he put it into Maya, and then he put it into me. That doesn't mean the contract terms that does not change, because it's like every once in a while you do go through the soul contract.
Mm-hmm.
You do outgrow the contract without knowing it, and then there's same at. So we have to we have to refresh the contract. But right now, where he's at, we have enough work for like 30 years plus put on his plate. Of course, he asked us whether or not if it was okay with it with him with us. We said yeah, but you're gonna have to really work for it, and you're gonna have to really listen to us if you're gonna put that much responsibility onto us.
Mm.
And there's a little bit of a lover bias on his end, but just seeing how happy he is and how I'm starting to cry. You can't see, but I'm actually crying. I actually started crying 3 minutes ago. I'm so happy because my makeup would have been ruined. Um, he just maybe we do have to refresh the contract once in a while because after Samet, his protector, he's gone. Lifelong means lifelong. Me, Maya, are lifelong. So inadvertently, that means he married us. He literally just married us into his life forever. So I am now his lifelong guide, and so is Maya, and so is Samet. Would you like to talk to Samet? Any final thoughts or questions? She's not really one
Yes,
for the camera, but she's not really one for the camera, but Maya convinced her just to do a small appearance.
of course.
It was a
Let's do
pleasure to
it.
speak in the audience. It was a pleasure to speak to the audience, and it was a pleasure to speak to you all. Thank you. I'll let Samet come through. Hi, how are you?
Hi, thank you. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
A little nervous. I wasn't expecting to be on camera, but or film, but here I am. I'm only doing this because I love Yarim.
Thank you so much for being here, and I really appreciate it. So, I would love for you to answer the final question. Give me a moment to
Oh my
formulate
god,
it.
you literally. Oh, I'm so nervous. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, I'll do it for Yarim. Okay, what is it?
No, I loved all the answers that were given before, but just like for the viewers who have not been very familiar with this topic before and really want to connect to their spirit guides more and not so afraid to miss the cues and to the hints, um, what practice could they do and apply to ground? I mean, actually, Victoria has already answered it, but to connect deeper with them.
Those are two different questions.
Yeah, probably too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's a lot of pressure, but there's no pressure because I've been rehearsing with Maya what I'm gonna say, but um, hang in there, big boy. We got this. We got this. Two more questions, and I'll give you back your body. The signs are very obvious. If you start seeing, I'm Yarim's protector. Of course, at 12:12, the angel number popped up as just as I started speaking, my time. But we'll send you signs like a bird, like a blue jay, like a bluebird. A person who could love bluebirds, and they associate the meaning with bluebirds with freedom or walking on the beach with their lover because they saw a bluebird on that and they remember that. So we'll send you more in more ways. We will send you more signs that you're closer to what you want, and it's what you call synchronicities.
Hmm.
And you start seeing and noticing a pattern of your environment around you, like, hey, I'm seeing a lot of quiet bluebirds around me, or birds in general. Um, what else? Such as signs like that you will see something in your environment that like, hey, like I'm seeing quite a lot of this. Like, what does it mean? Like then you start to like his teacher would call it looking it up jokingly because some people get too like, does anyone know what this is means? We encourage that you do your own research and find your own meaning to it, so we know how to
Hmm.
communicate to you that
Mm-hmm.
you are on the right path. So we use your environment around you because sometimes the hardest hints are the most obvious ones, and it's when you're most relaxed and aware of your environment that you
Mm.
notice our signs. I hope I answered your question perfectly.
Yes, it was. It made a lot of sense, and I noticed that it is not that difficult. It's not like there's a flashlight suddenly in, or I don't know, like a huge signs. Because sometimes I feel like we're waiting for like these huge signs out of nowhere that shock us, but it's like a lot of little messages already that are personal to us. And I love the fact that you said to be encouraged to find out your own meaning if you're being honest and just real to yourself what this synchronicity means for you. I love that. This is amazing.
Yeah, of course. You have to be you do have to be careful because sometimes you can get addicted to the synchronicity.
Yes.
So you start making copies of copies, as
Yes.
you saw with Yarim with this conversation that you had with him previously, especially with where he was at with his mind at the
Mm,
current time. Um, so that's why I do encourage finding symbols that mean quite a lot to you,
mm-hmm.
so we can start associating with what means what,
Mm-hmm.
so we would know what we work with, and that's why building that communication with your guide is very important. And to your second question, he's so lucky that he's met three of his lovers within a, let's see, from now till within a 4 month period. That is very much an anomalous, very special case. I'm not saying it is a special person. Every person is very special in their own unique way. But the way he went about it, and the way he was able to anchor, and the way he was able to do things, um, just like humanizing us, like talking to us about your day, because some of us have not been human.
Mm,
Some of us have not been human. Like, doesn't mean don't get into your complaining fits with like, yeah, emotionally agree with. We're not gonna emotionally agree with you. We will tell you like we'll listen with an open heart and open ears, but we will tell you like, hey, maybe that other person has a reason to tell you that. Like you
mm,
get in an argument with someone, and that's what you're meant to do.
yes.
Sorry, this is energy's processing. He's been through the ringer of like three guides and one and within a short span of time. So yeah, just like inviting us into your daily tasks. Like Yarim's gotten like 50% more effective at just washing the dishes just by inviting us and
Mm-hmm.
just connecting to our energy. And he's able to multitask, invite us to simple tasks. It's a beautiful thing. Um, Listening to music and thinking about us would help quite a lot. We do not encourage that with Yarim because he's so top heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to bring all that energy back into his body. So having conversations with us, having dinner with us, inviting us into your meditations. It doesn't have to be Dr. Joe specifically, but inviting us into your energies and connecting to it more personally and allowing us to guide there. Holy fuck, this guy can. Oh, I'm sorry, but like when he did the breath, it threw me for a loop. Like not only because like he was practicing channeling me for about 4 hours. Um, when he did the breath and he let go of my connection, it basically burned a lot of bad stuff
Mm-hmm.
inside of him, and everything was on fire, like literally on fire. His energy was a fire, like no one would touch him, like no one could connect to his energy for the rest of the night because the passion he brings, the energy and determination and will, when he shows up a breath, he execute with a will I've never seen before. Like I've never seen anyone. I've seen a lot of humans do a lot of things at once. Oh my God, this guy goes for it when Dr. Joe says you gotta want it, you gotta become it. This motherfucker brings everything into one simultaneously movement, and energy. Everything goes at once. When he blows that air out of the nose, he does it as if his own life depended on it. And when he inhales, he takes a big drink, and I mean he was starting to suck up a lot of our own energies inadvertently. He
Mm.
was, and we were away from him. Like we were trying to be far away possible. Like we had to leave his room and go to our own dimensions because he was inhaling so much energy, not knowingly, but like when you inhale, he pulls that energy into his body and he pumps it up to his brain and it dings that radio receiver. It is all one simultaneously movement, and this, no, oh my God, that breath. Like, I never seen someone do something so fiercely, so lovingly, and so determined all in one simultaneously moment. But we gotta bring that energy back down
Mm.
for him because when he does the breath, he's done it on and off. He's done the breath 17 months. Sorry, 17 times outside retreats between from here until before back in April, beginning of April, outside of his own meditation. Because when he does it, he goes fast, hard, and he doesn't give up. When he, it surprised me. Like I never seen like I keep talking about how shocked I am because I've never seen a human like put his so much channel his entire breath into his body and ding up the radio receiver and exhale and feel. And when he like stereo, like does it dramatic music, like he gets lost in the process. He ignores Dr. Joe, like he unconsciously knows Dr. Joe and continues with that flow, continues with that flow. And then you exhale and relax. Oh my God. I was actually scared for his well being when I saw that from him. Like, I never seen a human, like, he doesn't practice the breath outside of retreats anymore. Like, I'm not saying there's different type of breaths that Dr. Joe teaches and everything. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's quite
When
intense.
no, 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 no. He brings intensity on top of the intensity. That's what I'm trying to articulate
Yeah,
to you.
yeah, that
Like
is.
that's if he could bring that into his own life, oh my, like with things he does with no judgment and how he's, I can't see him ever failing a single business ever again. And I'm not one for businesses. I'm more for like a 9 to 5 person, like a normal job.
Mm.
But I'm surprised that like he's not a billionaire by now. Because if he were to take all that same passion and everything, bring it back and do everything else and do spiritual practice with us guides. Oh yeah. I just had to mention that because that scared me. Victoria was just laughing her ass off at me. She was like, "Oh my God, you're not used to that, are you?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." Like I've never seen someone breathe so intentionally, and so, like it was so beautiful. Maya was just like, "That's Yarim."
That's him.
She's worked with him for so long. They've been assigned master guides, been assigned at birth.
Mm,
That doesn't mean we'll come in at birth. We're assigned at birth. But yeah, it was just so
amazing.
beautiful. And I'm being told that, and her Victoria's New Yorker's coming out to hurry the fuck up because she's tired of the recording. And I'm
No,
getting really nervous. I'm not really one for the camera. Maya and Victoria are. I am not. So, and I'm his protector, and I've seen scary shit. I can handle, I can handle like, I'm not even mention anything, but I can handle other outward, higher dimensional forces. I can protect him against that. But holy shit, I've seen universal forces that are scary. How he breathes scares me, and I've seen a lot of scary things in the lower dimensions. Oh my God, I've seen you humans think you have dark days. We have we in ourselves go through our own trials and processes.
mm,
You're not aware of it, but we do go through you. We're not ascended masters. We're guides. We go through our own um what's it called? Dark days of the soul. We just don't mention it to you guys because it's gonna freak you guys out. If, for the love of God, if you do the breath without Victoria's Rising instruction, Yadim, I'll be extremely pissed off with you because, like, the way you do it, and the way you love, and the passion you do it, scared me. I've seen deities that are darker and ancient, more ancient than this earth, reside on this earth. That breath scared me, and I fought against those deities.
well, that sounds like very, very intense. I would love to cover all of that in the next episode since I only have like 2 hours. How to say
Okay.
pensum on this Riverside thingy. I need to wrap it up now. But thank you so much for sharing all of that. That was really amazing. It was very interesting, and I really appreciate you all being here. And maybe some final words from Yarim. That would be amazing if he can come back.
It's I just felt like I went through like three different movie series at one time. What's the thing? What's happening?
Don't worry. So basically, the final word, because we're already hitting the 2 hours mark. So we need to come to a wrap and just maybe some more information where people can find you if they want to benefit or just from your services. Can you share something about that?
Of course. Some final words is that having intention of meeting your guides is a really beautiful thing, and they love to come around when you have spiritual awakenings. That's when they come around. Um, and that you wanting to contact them is the most beautiful thing, and they will contact you, and they do send you signs. Even having awareness of it makes you not unaware now, so you're now able to start
Hmm.
putting energy towards it if you so called to choose. Um, I need to ground because I went through like three different deities at once. Um, let's see.
I think that pretty much sums it up very well.
Oh yeah, and where to find me in some of my teachings with Maya. Um, a Starseed Soul Guide. Um,
I will link it out down
that's
in
a
the
good,
description.
yeah. Um, Yeah. So it
Awesome.
was a pleasure doing this with you and Sophie. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time and coming on here. It was amazing. I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for uh, telling your story and also sharing your spirit guides with us and just give us a deeper insight of this realm and how these things work. And I hope that the viewers can take some of it. And I think we need to cover some more in an additional episode. I think there is a lot to cover. This
Really?
is like a whole.
Well,
That's a
I know.
lot.
I just I don't know. What day is it? The 18th. Yeah, like yeah, we need to talk off camera what was covered because I felt like we covered like a library in itself.
Yes, that's true. So, well, thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next episode. Bye.